Have you ever just felt completely fried, like your brain's running on fumes? You're taking in all this information, but nothing's really sticking. Well, what if I told you the key to a smarter, sharper mind isn't about adding more stuff, but actually letting things go? Today, we're going to dig into 4 outdated ideas that might just be holding your thinking back.
So let's get real for a second. Does this feeling sound familiar? You know, that mental fatigue, you can't quite focus, you just feel burnt out? Look, that's not some personal failing or a lack of discipline. It's really a symptom of the world we live in, where the very tools meant to connect us are often the ones totally frying our mental circuits.
And here's the thing, our brains, they were built for a world where information was hard to find. Now, we're literally drowning in it. And all that constant noise, all that stimulation, creates a kind of chaos that isn't just on our screens. It's actually a pretty good picture of the complex, noisy universe that's already going on inside our own heads.
To give you a sense of that inner universe, just look at this number, 100 trillion. A neuroscientist would tell you that's roughly how many neural connections you have in your brain. Now try to imagine all of those firing at once, processing thoughts, feelings, memories, all in parallel. It is a supercomputer of absolutely unimaginable power.
Now, a leading neuroscientist had this massive breakthrough about this inner chaos, and it came from a really unlikely place, tackling James Joyce's notoriously difficult novel, Ulysses. The book is so tough because it doesn't really follow a straight story. Instead, it tries to capture what it's actually like inside someone's head, which is, a messy, chaotic storm of totally disconnected thoughts.
And reading it sparked this incredible realization. Our attempts to think in a nice, neat, orderly line, it goes completely against the way our brains are wired. So to truly upgrade our thinking, we don't need another productivity hack. We need to abandon the mental software that's just not working anymore. So let's get into the 4 big ideas we need to uninstall.
All right, first up is a huge one. It's this fundamental belief that you are a single, unified I. This is probably one of the most powerful illusions we have about who we are. Yeah, this slide just lays it out perfectly. The old idea is that there's some kind of CEO in your head calling all the shots. But what neuroscience is showing us is a totally new reality. Your mind is much more like a parliament, or maybe a chorus, made up of millions of different selves all running in parallel. That conscious I you think of as you, it's not really the director. It's more like the press secretary, just trying to make sense of all the chatter and spin a coherent story.
So that brings us to the second big idea we have to let go of, and it flows right from the first one. I mean, if we're all just a chorus of different selves, how can we ever communicate perfectly? Well, the short answer is, we can't.
We like to think of language as this super precise tool, right? But as one neuroscientist put it, words are just really low-resolution pointers. Take a word like love, for example. That single word doesn't contain the vast, unique, incredibly complex universe of experiences you attach to it. It's just a label on a file cabinet in your brain, and your file cabinet looks completely different from everyone else's.
And this is why so much conflict happens. What we call betrayal is often just a collision of 2 people's internal worlds. You expected your definition of respect, and they delivered theirs. It's not always about bad intentions. It's that you were, from the very start, basically speaking 2 different languages hidden behind the exact same words.
Okay, this third idea. This one's a game changer. We're all taught that the only way to get real wisdom is through direct, first-hand experience. You just had to be there. But what if you could download decades of experience right into your brain?
This is such a powerful quote. It's from an author talking about his experience reading a novel called Takuryu. He said he felt like he lived the lives of every character, basically compressing 70 years of human struggle and joy and decision-making into the time it took to finish one book. Now that is the power of indirect experience.
Seriously, reading, especially literature, is one of the most efficient ways to build up your brain's database. It's not just about learning facts. You're basically running simulations of social dynamics, of moral dilemmas, of emotional train wrecks. This builds up your empathy and your pattern recognition, which lets your brain get way better at predicting the future, because it just has so much more data to work with.
And all of this brings us to our final and maybe the most urgent idea. Why do these mental upgrades matter so much right now? Well, because the game has completely changed. We are now sharing the planet with artificial intelligence.
It is the question on literally everyone's mind. With machines that can learn and process information at speeds we can't even comprehend, what's our place in all of this going to be?
The answer, thankfully, is both reassuring and a serious call to action. AI itself isn't your competitor, it's a tool. The real threat isn't the technology. It's being left behind by people who learn how to use it. It's not you versus the machine. It's you with the machine versus someone without it.
So this leads us to what is maybe the most important question for our future. If a machine can access all of human knowledge in a split second, what's left for us to do? I mean, where's our value?
Our advantage, it turns out, lies in the skills that AI just can't replicate. It's about wisdom, not just information. It's having the insight to define the right problem to solve in the first place. It's the curiosity to ask those deeper questions, not just what, but why and what if. It's the creativity to connect ideas from all that indirect experience you've been downloading, and the self-awareness to know what truly matters to you.
This really changes what it means to be valuable. The most valuable person in the room is no longer the one who has all the answers memorized. It's the person who knows how to ask the right questions. That's where real innovation, real progress is going to come from.
And in the end, our trajectory, both as people and as a species, isn't going to be shaped by the knowledge we collect, but by the questions we're bold enough to chase after. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Of the 4 ideas we've talked about, the myth of the single self, the illusion of perfect communication, relying only on first-hand experience, and competing on knowledge, which one is holding you back the most? What's the one thought you need to abandon to unlock a smarter, more elevated mind?